We know he's had tough fights. He's had a couple of tough fights. But, dude, he's so goddamn good. He's so protected. He knows where to be and where not to be. He's so composed. Like, look at that. Look at that movement. Look how he moves away from everything. So you're punching at air, and you're still threatening, but you're not really hitting him, and he's making you throw punches. And occasionally you clip him with a shot as he's moving away, and he rolls with a lot of shit.
But the three guys that everyone talks about are you, Alexander Usyk, and Terrence Crawford. Where do you rank yourself amongst the three in the pound for pound conversation?
まあでもいつでも自分が一番だと思ってやってますから。
Inoue impressed the hell out of me, man. For real. He had just enough like wrist, just enough defense. He had that speed, he had that power, and just the way he was dissecting his tall opponent and took his jab, his best punch away from him, his jab away from him. He wasn't able to land his jab or play, with the range of that jab and lower in a way because he was just...
As talk of a potential Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez showdown continues to build, Joe Rogan has emphasized just how dangerous the Japanese superstar can be. Rogan's praise is shared by former champions such as Sean Porter, who describes Inoue as an absolute monster because of his explosive speed, precision, power, and ability to close distance in an instant.
A monster. He's a monster. So I think that Inoue would be the favorite and on the betting odds and the blah 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 blah. And it's a hell of a fight. But I just feel like there's a gap there. I do think that's a hell of a fight.
Yes. I would like to see Bam get more experience.
Bam has to have more experience.
That's the number one thing.
He has to have more strength. Let me say this real quick, and now I think we can get out of here. Strength doesn't mean putting on muscle so that you can hit somebody and clock them. There's strength that you need to withstand what you're getting hit with as well. And Bam has to really build his body up a little bit more, getting in the ring with somebody like Inoue, who has both speed, power, quick, who has the total package. I think Bam has the total package, and he's growing into becoming the total package while Inoue are...
Max Kellerman also places both Rodriguez and Inoue in an elite category of their own. Bam has openly recognized that fans have been hoping to see this matchup for years, which makes the possibility of them finally sharing the ring feel much bigger than an ordinary championship fight.
Some others, but they see you and they see the monster, and it just looks different. You two look like different kinds of animals than everybody else. And that's really what super fights and eras are about. The dust settles, two guys are left standing. When you survey the landscape, is the monster that guy for you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people have been mentioning that fight even before I became who I am today. So I know when that fight does happen, it's going to be huge.
But Kellerman also identifies a serious physical challenge for Rodriguez. Bam would have to move up multiple weight classes to meet Inoue, while lacking a major reach advantage that could help neutralize the Japanese champion. That means Rodriguez could be giving up important physical advantages against one of boxing's most dangerous punchers.
How many tough fights Inoue's been in, and how young Bam is, and how well he boxes as a southpaw. I would be like, yeah, Bam's gonna do it, except that he's the smaller guy coming up. He doesn't have a very long reach. If he was a long fighter like you, I'd be like, I think Bam maybe beats him. This to me is like a pick'em kind of fight, because if anyone has a size, it's in a way with the size advantage, right? You have to move 2 ways.
Even with those concerns, Devin Haney sees Bam Rodriguez as one of the most intriguing opponents available for Inoue. Haney points toward Rodriguez's hand speed, creative angles, and advanced ring intelligence as qualities that could force Inoue to deal with problems he rarely encounters against other opponents.
I think that's the only fight I would want to see Inoue in, is a Bam Rodriguez fight. I think Bam has the most ability to test Inoue. I think he has speed, he has angles, he has IQ. I think
Andre Rozier takes the praise for Inoue even further, giving him the intimidating nickname Japanese Godzilla. Rozier points toward the champion's tremendous punching power and his remarkable finishing ability. Inoue has repeatedly demonstrated that once he hurts an opponent, he possesses the accuracy and composure to turn that opening into a stoppage.
The ride with my man Inoue, the hammer slammer kabama. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bam's. I'm a big fan. but he's going up in weight, climbing the ladder, and I think that Inoue is a beast. He's if David is the Mexican monster, he's the Japanese Godzilla. So I just got to ride in that direction, and I don't think Sans Passy moving into a weight class that's not comfortable for him. Where he's at now, with Bam moving up to him, I think he's...
Tim Bradley, however, believes Rodriguez's defensive flaws could become extremely costly against someone as accurate and explosive as Inoue. If Bam repeats some of the mistakes from his previous performance, Bradley doubts he will survive into the later rounds. Against a fighter with Inoue's precision, even a brief defensive lapse can completely change the outcome.
Fight that I'm going to talk about next, the Inoue fight, because everyone's talking about is Bam. Do you think Bam is ready for Inoue? Is Bam ready for Inoue? What the Bishop say? Hell no to the no. Hell no. No, he's not ready for Inoue right now. Hey, Bam, tremendous skills, pound for pound. Inoue's on the pound for pound list, but is he ready right now, like the next fight? Hell no. I think Bam need a couple more touches. And I think that Robert Garcia is a lot smarter.
Bradley also highlights the technical difference in the way the two fighters create openings. Inoue is exceptionally dangerous when opponents try to exchange with him because he can read their attacks and respond with devastating counters. Bam likes to stay in front of his opponents before suddenly shifting to the sides and creating angles, but that movement could become risky if Inoue times it perfectly.
Bam is the type of guy that likes to sit in front of you, and then he gets on the sides and gets on the angles. Inoue got a left hook, he got a right hand, he can turn with you, right? Either way, he can turn with you. Inoue can box off the back foot. Inoue can press going forward. Inoue has straight punches, one of the coldest 1-2s in the game. Coldest 1-2s in the game. 1-2-1. All the shots that Bam was getting caught with and supposedly blocking it. Blocking those shots. Inoue with the punching power.
Roy Jones Jr. approaches the matchup by focusing on perhaps the biggest question surrounding Rodriguez. Can Bam withstand Inoue's power? Jones respects Rodriguez's footwork, timing, and technical ability, but he also recognizes that neither man is impossible to hit. Against a puncher like Inoue, one perfectly placed shot could instantly change the entire fight.
Fight for boxing for both guys, and I think the timing is just right, one fight away. However, I do know that Inoue gets hit more than I think Rodriguez does. I think Inoue is susceptible to more things than Bam is because Bam uses his feet so well. So I think Bam's feet are what going to give him the advantage because he can avoid Inoue's north and south.
Still, Jones believes Rodriguez has a legitimate route to victory if he can survive Inoue's early offensive storm. If Bam absorbs the initial punishment and remains composed, his movement and footwork could become increasingly important as the rounds progress. But if Inoue's power proves too much early, Rodriguez could quickly find himself trapped against one of boxing's most dangerous finishers.
Inoue is not going to be able to avoid his east and west attack, and that's going to be tough. So now, what we got to see from Bam is, can you take Inoue's punch? Because 9 times out of 10, Inoue going to hit you once or twice. Because you say, he does get touched a lot. So he going to get touched. Can you take that? Because if you can take that, then you can beat him. But if you can't take that, then that's the question. So the big thing is, if he can take Inoue's punch, I think he beats Inoue. But if he can't take that punch...
Robert Garcia has shifted the conversation toward whether the fight can actually become reality. Garcia maintains that Rodriguez is willing to face Inoue whenever the opportunity arrives, but he wants something more substantial than rumors and social media discussion. For Bam's team, a serious fight requires a legitimate proposal before they can move forward.
We're ready for it. I know Bam will take it, and we'll take it too, but look, Inoue we just read a little bit, I think yesterday or this morning, that Inoue said that he's not going to wait for Bam, that he might move up to 126 if the fight doesn't happen by February. Well, at least send us an offer, at least.
Evan Garcia made that position even clearer by explaining that his team had yet to receive a formal offer. Until that happens, Rodriguez remains focused on his existing plans, including his championship ambitions. However, Garcia indicated that everything could change quickly if Inoue's side presents a serious and credible opportunity.
And Eddie Hearn told me that he hasn't heard anything from Inoue or his team. I haven't heard anything either because I manage BAM, so I haven't heard anything from anybody. Mr. Honda hasn't told me anything. Anybody from Inoue's team has never told me anything. So until then, we're moving on and we're gonna go as planned. November, early December, BAM hopefully gets the unification fight against another one of the champions at 118. Unless we get a call and we get an offer, then we'll consider the fight against him.
Teddy Atlas also gives Rodriguez considerable credit for what he has accomplished at such a young age. Atlas believes BAM has already established himself among the sports elite, but he points out that Inoue represents an entirely different level of championship experience and accomplishment. That difference could become crucial once the pressure of a massive fight begins to build.
Has already won titles at different weight classes, and he's won them against really good fighters. A couple of them a little older, but I mean, he's already beaten top fighters. It's not like he hasn't been tested. It's not like he hasn't been in there with top guys or the best guys. He has done what he's done at an early age with top guys. And so in that way, I have to believe in him, and I do believe in him. But he's still, how old is he, 26? He's still 26, and he's going to go in there with one of, possibly could wind up being one of the all-time greats. And Bam might wind up being that too. But Bam is still a little bit further down the road in that career. Inoue is a little further up the road in that career.
Andre Ward offers one of the most interesting tactical explanations, comparing the fighters through a compass analogy. He describes Inoue as a north and south fighter, meaning the Japanese champion often attacks directly while moving forward and backward with explosive precision. The frightening part is that Inoue's offense can also function as defense, because opponents are often forced to retreat simply to escape his pressure.
Very interesting matchup between these two because they're both very violent fighters. The difference is Naoya Inoue, he's going to try to kick your front door down, right? And he's going to do it with a lot of explosiveness. He's going to have a lot of power behind it. And you better have somebody on the other side of the door that can really hold that door and resist that man, because if not, he's going to hurt you and he's going to spook you with that quickness and that power. And the power is real. At the end of his shots,
Rodriguez, by comparison, operates more like an east and west fighter. Ward points to Bam's lateral movement, ability to change direction, and talent for creating unexpected attacking angles. Instead of constantly marching forward, Rodriguez can make opponents chase him, manipulate their positioning, and then strike when an opening appears.
He's very, very explosive. And for me, Naoya Inoue, he will go laterally, but he's not as skillful as Bam Rodriguez laterally. So in other words, Bam wants to get you on the angle. Bam Rodriguez is at his best when he can get to your left side or get to your right side, have you look for him, and then he meets you with a punch. He's elite when he does that. He's very good when he's in front of you. Naoya Inoue is a north and south guy.
That stylistic contrast is exactly why Lou DiBella believes timing could become a major factor. DiBella suggests that if the fight is delayed for too long, the balance could gradually shift toward Rodriguez. As Bam gains more experience and becomes increasingly comfortable at the higher weight, the younger fighter could potentially close the gap against Inoue.
Fought in the first quarter of 2027. Who would you like in that fight?
The longer it waits, the more I like Bam.
Same.
Okay, the longer it waits, the more I like Bam. If you follow Inoue's career, if you know who he is, he's so rich. He's so bigger than life over there. He already could retire and just make money as an advertising giant, sponsorship kind of face of brands and whatever. And that makes you less hungry. It just does. And you also see, as much as he's still great, and I think he's great, I think he's not maybe as great as he was before he felt himself the way he feels himself right now. And I think that
Bruce Carrington also expects the matchup to be extremely compelling. Although he acknowledges that Rodriguez can occasionally leave defensive openings, Carrington still considers Bam's rhythm, timing, and technical ability good enough to challenge a fighter of Inoue's caliber. The question is whether Rodriguez can maintain those qualities while dealing with Inoue's relentless pressure.
It's gonna be a good fight. I do think that, you know, weight classes matter, but when it comes to skills, like skills can pay the bills, man. Even me, when I spar guys that's like up to 154 if I really wanted to, and I fight 126. But that's because, you know, I can hang with them because of my skills. And I think that Bam has the skills to be able to hang with a guy like Inoue. Like, Bam is just, he's so swift and so smooth. He might have little lapses here and there in his defense. We've seen, you know, Bam get knocked down. We've seen Bam get hurt. But man, he gets into such a rhythm that is like poetry in motion. I wonder if he has enough power to keep Inoue off.
Paulie Malignaggi focuses heavily on Inoue's devastating combinations. He understands why those punches are so difficult to defend against, but he also points to moments in Bam's recent performance when Rodriguez was hit cleanly. If those same defensive habits appear against Inoue, Malignaggi believes the consequences could be far more severe.
He's a short, tight, strong right hand. That's why it's one of his best punches. He's in and out with that little bounce, little tight bounce that he has, and he really lets go of some vicious right hands at times. And they're short and they're straight. If those straight shots are the ones that Rodriguez is going to be susceptible to, you know, short, tight shots with some speed. We got flies here in Sicily. It's crazy. I'm out here in the Sicilian. Nice Sicilian weather, but some of these insects are crazy. But anyway, yeah, if you're gonna have if you're gonna be susceptible to those shots, you gotta start wondering, could Inoue hurt?
Because of that, Malignaggi does not necessarily believe Rodriguez should rush straight into the biggest possible fight. He would prefer Bam to take another bout at his current weight, allowing him to become more comfortable physically, correct some defensive issues, and gain additional experience before taking on someone as dangerous as Inoue.
Tight straight shots from Inoue, it's a lot different for them from Vargas. And if you're telling me that you were feeling the ones from Vargas, you know, you're gonna move up in weight again and fight Inoue, and Inoue's power against smaller guys, and you know, obviously Bam is a smaller guy as well, it's shown to be pretty devastating. Now again, I love this fight. I love the Inoue fight, but I think that Bam probably should take one fight at 122, maybe around October. If I'm Bam's team, that's what I would look into. I would love to know what you guys think about that. You know, I don't think he should just jump right into the Inoue fight from this fight. I thought he looked good. Listen, at the end of the day, there's always things to work.
Sean Zittel believes Rodriguez can create the upset if he remains comfortable in the pocket, stays composed, and consistently catches Inoue with counters. For Zittel, Bam's discipline will be critical. If Rodriguez can avoid unnecessary exchanges while taking advantage of openings, his speed and timing could give him a genuine chance against the Japanese champion.
You're a box office guy. When you add up every little global market there is, even if 98% of it is coming from one market in particular, and Bam Rodriguez is, you know, never going to duplicate those kind of numbers. You know, I don't think he'll even quite be able to do what Barrera. David Benavidez at 200 pounds, being Mexican-American, is struggling to move the needle the way a lot of people like me think he should be able to. Because I get, you know, in Mexico, to quote American Me, which is a movie about LA, not Mexico, they're like, he's not Mexican, ese. He's not, you know, I just love that movie and how to bring that line up. When you're not from Mexico, unless you're Oscar De La Hoya and Fernando Vargas.
Mike Koppiner also leans slightly toward Rodriguez, largely because of Bam's age and continued development. Koppiner sees Rodriguez as a fighter who is still improving, while Inoue has already accumulated years of elite-level battles. If experience has taken any physical toll on Inoue, that accumulated wear could eventually become an important factor in such a demanding matchup.
I just simply lean towards Bam slightly just because of the youth and he's ascending still. I just think that's a big, major factor here. And, you know, the Monster's been in a lot of really tough fights, you know, against Donaire, the first fight, broken orbital bone, and the fight with Nakatani, I was just at, that was a tough fight too. So I think we have to give the edge to somebody ever so slightly. It has to be Bam. He's a lot younger. He's a lot.
Liam Goff takes the opposite view, expressing concern about Rodriguez's defensive lapses. Against an offensive machine as precise and destructive as Inoue, even small mistakes can become extremely expensive. For Goff, the safer choice is the fighter who has already proven himself repeatedly against the highest level of opposition.
There against someone like Inoue, who's an offensive juggernaut, you know you need to tighten the defense up. You know it needs to be on point because this guy has devastating power. Although he hasn't shown it in his last couple of fights, he really does have that. Bam's offense, in some ways, is his defense. So if his offense drops against Inoue, oh boy, he's that could be a problem. That could be a problem. If they do the fight this year, I will stand by what I've said. As much as I love Bam Rodriguez, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's certainly in the top 5 of favorite fighters I love watching. I would have to go with the tried and tested Naoya Inoue. I would. It'd be interesting, and I say that with no great degree of certainty, but it's just these variables that I just outlined, which would have me have reservations about picking Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
With respected fighters and analysts divided between Inoue's devastating power and championship experience and Rodriguez's youth, movement, and technical versatility, this potential showdown continues to grow into one of boxing's most fascinating possibilities. If these two champions finally meet, it would be much more than another major title fight. It would be a collision between two completely different styles, two elite talents, and two fighters determined to prove who truly belongs at the top.